You see all the van life photos, you watch all the van tours, but do you wonder what this nomadic lifestyle is all about? Are you curious about life on the road? Social media calls it #vanlife. We call it home. I'll ask 10 questions to get you the stories that you want to hear from the people who live, work, and travel and adventure in this nomadic lifestyle. Welcome to Life on the Road.
Horses up there.
There? Where?
Right, straight across on the Ridgeline Trail. Right across from them.
Oh,
They're
shit.
down right now. You see them?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
That's pretty cool. All right, let's start. You ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Perfect. Welcome to another episode of Life on the Road, where I ask 10 questions to get you the stories that you want to hear about her life on the road. Welcome, Sloane.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you for doing this.
You're so welcome.
I appreciate your time. As we always start on the show, please introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, and then tell us how long you've been on the road. And you can also shamelessly promote yourself if you'd like.
I don't need any shameless promotion.
Oh, come on. Everybody needs a little shameless promotion.
No, I don't need any part of that.
Okay.
So, I'm Sloane. I've been on the road for 4 years.
Okay.
I originally am from California. I have not called it home for many, many years. Many, long before the van. Yeah, I am just a road warrior, sadly. Not really.
Dallas is home right now, though.
No. No.
I literally said this because I knew it would get a rise out of
Dallas
you.
is not home. I am just
awesome.
stuck in Texas for
Fair enough.
a small period of time.
Fair enough. Okay.
You know, if
I knew that would get.
If I call
something out of you.
anywhere home, it's Wyoming.
All right.
That's it.
Okay. Fair enough.
You know, we'll be out of Dallas very soon.
Soon enough.
There's no wildlife there.
No.
It's not made for the van dweller.
No.
They look at you like a crazy person.
Yes. I completely can understand and relate. So yeah, no. Dallas is a brutal spot.
Yeah.
So as we sit in this beautiful environment, as you typically know, we're in front of a rig. You know, but today, because we're at such an epic camp spot, we are looking at this beautiful view. So, and Sloane has refused to look at the questions or even acknowledge the questions, so she's going to do this blind.
I have not refused. I've said I like the element of surprise.
I'm just teasing.
And I like to just, not come up with a thought beforehand and then be upset that I didn't have the right answer.
It's fair. I get it. I understand what you're saying. So, but her friends advised her to not have the questions, which I get it. It's fine. No
they
worries.
know me, so they know
Yeah.
I am fun on the spot.
Okay, and I'm totally good with that. So it's time to learn about your life on the road.
Let's do it.
Question 1. What was the beginning moment, cause, or inspiration to live your life on the road?
I was living in a house, like a 2,500 square foot house, and I was never there. I was either working or I was out in the mountains. And then my lease came up and I was like, why the fuck am I spending $5,000 a month on this house?
Are you in Wyoming at this point?
No, this was in California.
California, okay.
And I was like, why am I doing this? I'm always out in the mountains.
Yeah.
Or I'm at work. I literally get 2 hours of sleep a day. This is crazy. And so I started looking at putting a trailer at the plant and doing all these other alternative ways of living.
Yeah.
And then
what year was this?
This was 2017, I think.
Okay.
I started kind of
So before van life became super popular.
Before van life became popular or even knew about it.
Right.
I was looking at buying a container house and putting it at my plant, or buying an RV and putting it at my plant. And at the time I had a Wrangler.
Okay.
And so I called the Wrangler people and I was like, okay, what can I tow with my Wrangler?
What's the biggest thing I can tow
And
with
they're
a
like,
Wrangler?
you can maybe tow a J-Light. And I was like,
That it's not going to work.
they're like, but you'd have to be completely empty and totally dry. And I was like,
Yeah.
this isn't gonna work. All right. So then I kind of just like kept at it, and then my job went remote.
Okay.
And so then I didn't have to live in that city anymore, and I was like, well, what am I gonna do? And so I just started traveling, and I started living out of my Jeep quite a bit. And I still had I was living in one of my parents' houses, and so I just had kind of like this like free spirit, whatever she wants to do type thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna convert a school bus.
Okay.
Because at that moment I was like, well, I'm gonna live in this for at least 5 years, and I need a washer and dryer, I need a full kitchen, I need a bathtub, I need a shower, I need a real bathroom.
This person who just shamed the shower in Althea a little bit.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. So that was me. I was like, I definitely need all of this, and that's why I need a school bus.
Okay.
And I need to have all this space. Like,
Fair
I can't
enough.
live in something tiny. I'm coming from like a 3-story beach house, and then prior to that, like my own 2,500 square foot. Like, it was just like, there's no way.
Yeah.
And then I bid on a school bus, and I lost the school bus.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm not made to do a school bus.
Okay.
So then I was like,
Some reality set in a little.
well, and I was already on all of the like Reddit communities about like alternative lifestyle.
So you're diving deep into the opportunity of like tiny living.
100%.
In some form.
Yes.
Okay.
I'd already like gone down all the dark rabbit holes.
Okay.
Was watching all the YouTube videos.
Okay.
Schooly videos.
So nomadic travel was like in your mind.
100%.
Okay.
It was already there.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? And so then I was like, oh, maybe I'll do a motorhome. And I started looking at motorhomes, and I was just like, ugh, woof, woof. And they were so expensive.
Yeah, and they're terribly designed.
And they're terribly designed,
built.
and the interior is disgusting. And I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna spend all this money on something
Yeah.
and have to rip it all out and do it myself. Like,
Why?
what's the purpose in that?
Yeah, of course.
So then finally I was like, I'm gonna look at a van.
Okay.
And at this point, I knew nobody that lived in a van. Van life was not a hashtag on Instagram.
Yeah.
It was not popular. It was not like, if you said I'm gonna live in a van, people were like,
really? Yeah.
are you homeless? And I was like, no, I'm doing it by choice. They're like, oh, you live in the minivan around the corner. It's like, no. I live in like a big Sprinter van.
Yeah.
So this was way before people knew what van life was and like knew what to look for in a street. Like, you could still stealth at that point.
So, okay, obviously we're going to get to the rig, but like I want to talk about the mentality of that moment. Like, why choose nomadic travel?
I was an avid outdoors person.
Okay.
And I just loved...
Where in California did you play? Like, where was your...
Like the Eastern Sierra.
Okay, perfect.
So...
Beautiful.
I went over into Sequoia some, but then I really fell in love with like the Eastern Sierra. It was just like, this is my spot. Like, I love it here. And so I was like, okay, well, this is cool. Like, I want to be here. I want to live here.
Okay.
And my father was sick, like very, very sick.
I'm sorry.
And so, thank you. And so at that point I was like, it was a firsthand perception of someone that's like alive and someone that's dying.
Yes.
And I was like looking at him, and he had all of these things that he wanted to go do. And I was like, and he's not going to get to do them. And the only thing that he wanted from me was to do what I wanted to do. He was like, just follow your passion. That's
amazing.
all you need to do.
It's amazing.
And so I was like, okay.
So that literally stuck with you.
That literally stuck with me. I was like, you know what? I never want to waste a day thinking I have tomorrow, because I don't have tomorrow. And like, I know that full well. Like, I could die tomorrow. We
have more in common than you think. I actually lost my father as well.
Really?
And I have had those very similar thoughts of like, I know I don't have the time that I think I have.
Yep.
And so therefore, I'm going to live my life with intention and with purpose and do the things that I love to do.
Absolutely.
Because it makes me happy.
Yes.
And I know, like, my dad would be proud of me for
100%.
doing that.
100%.
Like, and thinking like that.
Yeah.
So I can relate to your thought there. So.
All my dad wanted was to see me like truly happy.
Yeah, of course.
And like, he loved when I'd come back from trips. He was like, tell me about it, and like show me photos.
Yes.
And he loved that. And like right before he passed was like he never got to see the van done.
Okay.
And so he got to see it.
But he knew you were going down that path.
He knew I was going down it.
Okay.
The last photo I got to show him was like right as it was about to get painted.
Okay.
So like the entire van was built, but it wasn't painted yet.
Okay.
And so I got to show him that, so he knew, like he knew it was
you're making
happening.
those steps down. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just like.
Okay, that is amazing. Thank you for sharing that story.
You're welcome.
That I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And again, too, like we talk about like these moments of like these aha moments. Sometimes they're not even aha moments. Sometimes they're like year-long processes. Like
100%.
You're working towards this.
Yeah.
And oftentimes on the show, many others have given the piece of advice of like, until you're really ready and excited about the concept of nomadic travel, don't go. Be patient and wait until your life is in order.
Yeah.
Everything's in order. To the most part, like you can still be, a sporadic mess occasionally.
Yeah.
But when you're excited about it, then go. And then go full on. Like
100%.
Yeah.
You've got to be, and you'll know.
Yeah.
It's like.
I think that's a good point.
It's like you can start going down the path and the doors can start opening. But you may hit some roadblocks and you'll just be like, okay, well, it's not like now I'm not ready yet.
Yes.
I'm not ready yet. But like you keep kind of trucking forward.
Yeah,
and then
taking small steps to it.
Yeah.
And then you get to a point and you're like, oh shit, I'm ready to go.
I'm ready and I'm going. And like you go and it's terrifying. That moment you decide like, I'm leaving. Because I remember full well, like I took off like within a month of my father's passing.
Yeah.
And I remember just driving out and my mom was just like crying because she knew, like at that point she knew
you were gone.
I was gone.
Yeah.
I was gone.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's hard because you're leaving comfort.
Yeah.
Like you're leaving a lot.
And honestly, like it's the impetus for this show. It's the reason why I've created this show.
Yeah.
Is I watched, and again, I've referenced it 100 times. People are going to get tired of me saying this, but there's a million YouTube videos on how to build a van.
Right.
Super
it's ridiculous.
easy, right?
It's
and
so
that's
dumb.
great. And I watched every one and built a very functional floor plan in Althea, and I love my home. But the day I picked her up and I started driving, I was like, well, fuck, now what do I do? Like, and so the reason for this show is to tell these stories, to hear your stories, so that others have a better idea of what it's actually like to live out on the road.
And it's not an easy life,
No,
by no means. Like when I got into it, I kid you not, I thought, because I was friends with a lot, because I was in the beginning stages of it, right? So when I was with those people, we were a very, very small community, and we all knew each other, and like we knew where each other were.
Yeah.
And I had gotten into it thinking it's going to be this glamorous thing. It's beautiful. I'm going to have all these beautiful places I'm staying. And it's not, it wasn't like that. Now it is, because I know
where to go.
I know where to go, what to do. I know how to get water. I know where to dump trash. Like I know these things.
Right. But you have to learn.
You have to learn, and it's like.
And that's a hard learning curve sometimes.
And it's lonely.
It's lonely.
It's
for sure.
lonely.
We're gonna talk about all these things, which is amazing. So I'm glad we've opened this Pandora's box, because this is perfect.
Oh boy.
Question number 2: what has been your experience with other nomadic travelers while living your life on the road?
It's been a hit or miss.
Okay, I love that honest, like true honest answer.
I don't get along with everyone. I don't like everyone. I don't want to be everyone's fucking friend.
I've known you for 10 minutes, and that is literally the greatest statement I've ever heard. Like the most honest, simple statement I've ever heard. And again, I've known you for 5 seconds, and I can already tell that to be so true.
Yeah, like, and I'm not, the thing is, like, I'm not going to tell people I don't like them. I'm just going to not intentionally be around them.
Yeah, of course.
Like if I know where they're at, I'll be like, okay, cool, I'm not going there. I'm not going there.
I'm going to go elsewhere.
And like,
get benefits of living in a van.
Exactly. And when I first got on the road, I did all the things. I went to all the gatherings. I did all the things. I met all the people. I was like, everyone knew me, and I knew everybody. And I was very connected with a lot of like the social media and van life people.
Sure.
And very quickly I was like, ew. And then I started saying there's 2 types of van life. There's hashtag van life, and then there's like people that live in a van.
Oh, I can't believe you just said that.
And I'm like,
I can't wait for
I
you to...
am the person that lives in a van.
I just love the fact that you have no idea what these questions are, and you're leading me down this path that I'm so excited for you to answer all these.
Yeah,
so mixed emotions with other nomadic travelers. But like, the reason for the question is, and honestly, it's about like where we're sitting right now, with very good friends in a very beautiful environment. You know, so the community is truly an amazing community.
And you can find whatever you want within nomadic travels.
Yes.
I tend to not pal around a lot with like van life people.
Sure.
I tend to not really pal around with anyone at all.
Okay.
I like going places and meeting locals.
Sure.
So like that's kind of how I get my social interaction is like
Okay.
I'll be on a trail and I'll meet someone and then they think I'm a local and I'm
Right.
like, oh yeah, totally. The gym down the road, yeah, I go every day.
Right.
Like that's
Yeah.
just,
I get it.
it's just, I don't know. I've done that more the past 2 years
Okay.
and that's more my speed. Is
Okay.
like,
Just experiencing the locations that you're in
Yeah.
and kind of getting that local vibe.
yeah, but
Yeah.
like I love nothing more. Like I've spent so many times, like I spent a lot with Sierra in the summer.
Sure.
And like we would set up like a couple vans in a circle and it was nice because
Yeah.
we'd all do our own thing, but
Yep.
then like every so often we'd be like, yeah, let's have a fire and hang out.
Yeah.
So it's like, for me, it's a very
There was no
specific-
pressure. There was no
Right.
pressure to be together,
Correct.
to hang out. Like,
Correct.
You were in the location just sharing a good, beautiful location, I imagine.
Yeah.
Just with other people that you generally like to hang out
Yeah,
with.
and that's the nice part is like, you're kind of all more of an isolated type person.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're fine just being like, hey, I don't really want to be social.
Yeah.
Which is the cool thing about nomadic people. We all know we like to be alone.
Correct.
Like,
And either you're going to learn that or you're not going to be a nomadic traveler.
what I tell people all the time that are like, oh, I want to travel, I want to be a nomad. I'm like, do you like being alone? They're like, no. I'm like, then don't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to spend 90% of your day
Yeah, alone. Yep.
with your own thoughts
Yeah.
by yourself.
Yeah,
And if
exactly.
you can't handle that now in a city, you're not going to handle it on a road by
Correct.
yourself.
Because you're going to layer in so many other anxieties and stresses and, issues with the van and
Oh,
with
yeah.
travel.
Oh, yeah.
And then, by the way, you're now thinking in your own head for hours upon hours.
Hours.
And upon hours. Yeah.
Hours, and you have no one to talk to.
Yeah,
You have
exactly.
nobody to talk to. Like,
Yeah.
that's the beauty of social media, though, is like you can talk to people on social media that are
100%.
also in the same boat. But
sure. Like,
then you're spending your life on a screen. So it's kind of like a,
It's hard. It's one of those things where that's typically how we keep in touch.
Right.
Like when we're not together is via social
and I
media.
love it for that.
Yeah.
I love it for like,
Of course.
you post stories and someone's like, wait a minute, that looks familiar.
Yeah,
I think I
I've
know
been
where
there.
they're at. Wait a minute, oh my gosh, they're super close to me. And then you're
Yes.
like, oh yeah, let's go hang out.
Yes, that is exactly how this community functions. But at
Yeah.
the same time, like, there is a flip side to that. Obviously, you just kind of explained a very beautiful, glorified maybe side of nomadic travel. But then to your point before, you're going to sit alone a lot.
A lot.
And you're going to sit in your thoughts.
Yeah.
You're going to have a lot of time to yourself. And sometimes that's not fun. And that's
Yeah.
hard to deal with. And it's not for everybody.
Right, absolutely.
I'm glad more and more people are talking about this, and whether it's mental health or anything along those lines. But like living in a van it's hard.
But I also think it's a different experience as a single traveler versus someone in a partnership.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Again, you're just like leading me down.
I
this
mean, I
path.
don't even need questions. I can just have an honest conversation with you.
I knew that was going to be easy. Yes. Again, the 20 seconds I met you, I was like, well, this conversation is going to go just fine. Yes. I'm going to have no issues with this conversation. Number 3, what is your biggest failure and what has been your biggest triumph while living on the road?
Failure is probably blowing my tire out in the van and having to drive down an OHV road.
Okay.
Well,
Well, that's just kind of dumb luck, too. That just sucks.
yeah.
You didn't fail at that. Your tire failed.
I did fail at that. I had the option to be like, we shouldn't go up that
down this road.
We
Or
shouldn't go up that road.
were the tires on the rig like so old that you just
No, they were
needed-
brand newish.
Oh, okay.
They
well
were
then-
new.
Okay.
No, they were definitely newer.
But you just knew you probably shouldn't have been on the road.
I had walked the road a million times and I was trying to get to this new super dope spot and I thought I turned on the right road and then I faced the road and I was like, fuck, this is the road I've said never drive up. Never drive up. And I was like, 4-wheel drive engaged,
Here we
let's
go.
fucking go. And I just, whoop, I was like, immediately blew the tire and I was like, fuck.
That's no good.
Fuck, I gotta get out of here now. So I had to flip around and drive back down this. It was like,
With a blown out tire?
with a blown out tire.
Did you just destroy the rim, basically?
Yeah, just
Okay.
drove on the rim all the way out.
Oh,
Yeah, it was not a good moment for
okay.
me. But like,
now that I'm hearing the story, definitely a failure.
yeah,
for
it was
sure.
definitely a failure. And it was like one of those moments where I think I realized, you do need to have a little bit of like, this is your home. Like
You
it's
should
not.
treat it like a home.
It's not just a vehicle. It's not a
Yes.
Jeep, Sloane.
Yes.
It is your home.
Okay, I like that. And it's funny, like with this question specifically, and there's another one that people always reference, is like whatever these failures are, they're not failures at the end of the day.
No,
You've
they're
learned a
learning.
valuable lesson here.
Right,
you know,
100%.
And you have never done this again. You treat your rig now with far more, maybe.
Debatable.
We did just talk about a hammer incident just now. So
Yeah, I mean, debatable.
Maybe
like,
not. Yeah, very debatable with you. I'm getting that vibe. I understand.
I still am very risky with what I do in the van. It's like,
It's fair. Okay.
you know.
I get it. So now we've talked about failure. What's your biggest triumph while living your life on the road?
I honestly think just living 4 years.
And that's a
Like-
big deal. Congratulations for being 4 years on the road.
I've gone through a lot of it, right? Yeah. Like in terms of being lonely, being happy, being sad, loving the lifestyle, seeing the lifestyle change, going through a fucking pandemic in it.
Yeah.
And then for me, the biggest struggle has been going from living in the van during COVID to seeing the ginormous influx of people coming into the community during COVID. And like, I mean, I'll be honest about it, like ruining a lot of van life,
sure,
in my opinion, because I was in it before the pandemic. I knew what it was like.
I think it's a valid point. You know, we talk a lot about, like, we love seeing new people come out here and experience this. We want people to experience this. But there's a level of respect and understanding for these public grounds that we sit on and we camp at that seems to be missing in some parts of van life.
Correct. And that's what I think my problem is like, I see a lot of people that someone's in a spot that they want, so they're just going to go post up right next to it. Or like they crowd your space, or they're driving on something that's not a spot. It's like, all of this is just, it's so disrespectful. And like, I've seen like Sedona now. I won't even go to Sedona anymore because it's just overrun with people and like ruining the land and like, I mean, ruining something that was so beautiful and magic and just like it was just quiet. Now it's not.
We were just there. I was just having this conversation earlier for the a Good Vibes collective event, and Chris and I literally got to meet the Forest Service ranger that did all the closures for Sedona. Like, he was
during the pandemic.
Yeah.
I was there.
But he was the guy that designed the closures and like which ones to close and which ones to keep open. And like we had a very honest and open conversation with this gentleman. He was an amazing guy.
Yeah.
And he said they're going to stay closed for 2 years. And he said, my hopes are that people will learn by these closures, treat the land better, and then in 2 years, hopefully we can slowly start opening some of these lands again, which would be amazing. But I get it. You're exactly correct. I mean, we love people coming into this community. We want people to come and enjoy this lifestyle. But at the same time, like there needs to come a level of understanding and respect for the lands that we all enjoy.
Yeah, and I also come to the point where it's like, if you know nothing about the outdoors and you're just here, like I see so many people roll into a spot, set up their cameras, take a photo, and then they leave. And I'm like you're doing it for the Instagram fame right now, and I really like that. To me is also a huge just like gag.
I get it. I mean, I'm a photographer. I've done that, but you know, but it's also part of my job. So
but you're not literally making your Instagram reels out there.
Very true.
And then jump back in the van and you're like, all right, so now let's go to like the hotel and sleep because like we don't want to get dirty. Like it's literally that where it's like you're afraid to get dirty. Like, why are you living in a van? Come on.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Okay. Question 4. Did you start your life on the road as a single person? And what is it like living on the road as a single person?
Oh, I started as a single person. I'm going as a single person. We are a single individual.
Amazing.
100%.
I mean, have you had relationships on the road?
100%.
Okay.
Yes.
You don't have to talk about them, but like and I actually like to use this question, especially with a solo female traveler, to talk about life as a solo female traveler.
It's difficult. Like when I first got on the road, my father had just passed away. And so I very much was not in the place of like mentally there for anyone. And I got very fortunate that like 6 months in, I met someone that was just like incredible. And we were there for each other for a long time, like probably a year. And that was really incredible. And like that helped me a lot, but I wasn't at the place in my life where I was like able to love or be loved just because like what I was going through.
The traumatic the moment of losing your father, again, trust me, I can relate.
And so for me, it was just like, I just wanted to be on the road. I wanted to do my own thing. I didn't want to answer to anyone. And then finally, like recently, the past like 2 years, year and a half, maybe like a year there, I don't know. somewhere in the past, the time all blurs together.
Okay.
Like in the past maybe year has been to the point where I'm like, okay, like I would want a partner now,
Yeah.
like someone that I could legitimately like build a life with.
Yes.
And
Share some of these moments with.
And that's what I'm finding I want the most is like, I want to go to this place and have my fires with somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to go climb these mountains with somebody.
Yeah.
But it's very difficult when you're a nomad. It's very difficult when you're a nomad.
We talk about this all the time, not only on the show, but also with my friends. And it's like, dating on the road as a nomad kind of fucking sucks.
It does. You have to find someone that...
Okay, so what's your ideal situation?
Ideally,
for a
I'd meet
relationship?
someone that was in a van or
that has their own rig.
That has their own rig.
Yes.
Ideally, someone has their own rig.
Yes.
We meet up every like month or something.
Yes. And then you can go apart.
And then we
you
can go
come back
apart
together.
if we want to like if things are going well and we
Yes.
want to keep caravanning together. Like
Yes.
totally.
Yes.
But like you've got to have your own rig. Like I don't want someone in my space all the time. Like it's
Yes.
just too small of a space.
Yes.
I don't want that. Like even in a
100%.
house, like even if I were to live in a house, like I'm trying to buy a ranch, like that's my goal.
Okay.
Even when I'm saying that, like I still want to have like container homes.
I have some
and
people
I
want to put you in touch with.
and I have my own
for your
container home, and then I want my partner to have his own container home. So like we have our two homes,
Yeah.
and then we have like our communal home, which
Yeah.
is like our kitchen and
Gathering
our living
space.
room,
Yeah.
and like
I
like
see
our
that.
like our partner area. But like we have our own spaces. Like I think that's why marriages fail, honestly. Like you each need your own fucking bedroom. What happens when you want to sleep by yourself? Like God, I don't want to cuddle. Like go.
I love it. I absolutely love it. It's so good. It's so good. Well, we're talking about cuddling. It's perfect. It lead into my next question. What's the best place or craziest place you've had sex on the road?
On a glacier.
On a glacier. I like that. In Alaska?
No, in Glacier National Park.
Glacier National Park. Okay, we checked a national park. I like it.
Yeah. I had a goal at one point where I wanted to have sex in every single national park.
Okay, I like
And like
that idea.
not like in the van, but like on a popular trail.
On a trail somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
like, I mean, it's still a goal.
Well, there you go. I like it.
I mean, I don't think.
That's a pretty good spot.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it.
Hell no. It's amazing.
I mean, as long as my goal is also to just like not wind up on a sex offender list, like that's also a goal of mine. It's like
That's
not.
like we're gonna fine line that. Yes.
Yeah. It's
okay.
like.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah. Like
It's a good spot. It's a great answer. I like the answer.
I mean, why not?
Yeah, and Glacier, and I mean, one of the most beautiful national parks in America.
Stunning.
Yes.
I mean, highly recommend.
Yeah, I would second that. Highly recommend that idea. How do you make money while living your life on the road?
I have a remote manufacturing job.
Okay.
I manage an asphalt plant remotely.
Okay, that's interesting.
I actually love manufacturing. Like I've been in it my whole adult life. And I say in another life I was an engineer just because like that's how my brain works and likes to tinker with things and like learn new things. And I'm fascinated by manufacturing. So I actually tried to start my own manufacturing company last year. And for me, the most fun was like learning every aspect of the plant and like how to run the machinery and make the products. And like, I love, like, I'm such a geek on product development.
Okay.
But like manufacturing products, like tech, I don't forget that. I don't want any part of that nonsense.
Right.
I can't deal with it. And then I'm also a private flight attendant, but I'm not sure. We'll see.
Okay.
That keeps me a little locked in a location, and that's a little tough for me.
Yeah, as a nomadic traveler, somebody that thoroughly loves the road. Or
Yeah, I
loves
just
their
started
van.
doing it, and we're trying to navigate it, and then also figure out what else I can do.
Okay.
So
this is kind of like I'm in between, gonna see how this lasts or if I really enjoy this.
yeah, I mean, I've got other ideas of like ways I would like to make money.
Yeah.
I just have to figure out how to actually make them make money.
Fair enough.
You know, I have things I would like to do, but I'm like, how do you make money by doing what's not?
Yeah.
I mean, if someone can just pay me to run, I'd be
There
all
you go.
about that.
Okay.
I'm just
I
not
get
good
it.
enough at running anymore,
Fair enough.
you know?
But there are interesting ways that you could do that. But no, I like the thought. So, but at the end of the day, you're doing what you need to do to keep you out on the road for a certain amount of time.
Correct. And that's what I'm trying to find now is like other ways to make money
so that you can stay on the road full time?
Well,
do you have a desire to be on the road full time?
100%. I don't want to not be on the road, but
Yeah.
I also am trying to buy some property. Like, that's kind of my goal.
Yeah, I agree.
Is I would like to buy some land and start developing something.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not making enough money to buy something.
I got
Like,
you.
I'm making enough money to keep my life sustained. I'm not
Yeah.
making enough to buy something.
Further down the road. Yeah,
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Okay. What is your rig? Who built it? And why did you choose it to live a life on the road?
My rig is a 170 four-wheel drive Sprinter.
Yes.
And
Looking at her right now.
I chose it because I wanted enough space for me and the dogs for like a long-term spot to live.
Okay.
And also, I didn't want a Sprinter because I hate German vehicles. They're like so expensive and they're always broken, and like didn't want any part of that. But at the time, because I wanted the Ford because I'm also tall.
Yeah.
And so I wanted the tall roof.
The headroom, yeah.
And like, and I know I date really tall men, so like I was like, this isn't gonna work well. Like, you're putting a limiting factor on the tall man I can date. So it's tough. It still is tough. I'm like, you can stand in the fan, and then like otherwise you're really good laying down on the bed. But like, that's fine. You know, just lay there and look cute. You're fine. So I bought the Sprinter because I wanted four-wheel drive.
Yeah.
And because I wanted diesel, and at the time Ford didn't have the all-wheel drive.
Yep.
So it was kind of like, well, this is what I'm gonna take.
I get it.
So I got it.
I got it. I mean,
It's,
the
you know.
diesel four-wheel drive's why I have Althea as well, so I understand.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense. You built it yourself.
I did not build it myself.
You did not build it yourself.
I designed it. I tried to build it myself.
Okay.
I took the floor out, and then I went to Home Depot many a times and started crying in the aisles, and I was like, I can't do this. I have too much going on in my life. Because at the time I was taking care of my father,
Yeah.
running our business, and like just doing all of these things. And I was like, I cannot figure out how to use these tools and build my home for the future while doing, I just don't have the capacity to do this.
That's fair.
And so I had a tiny home builder build it.
Okay.
And so here we are now. I'm having to rip it apart.
I was going to say, we just had a conversation about how to tear everything out.
Yeah.
Not everything, but a big portion
A
of
good
it.
portion of it, because, I mean, it was his first build.
Sure.
And so I would say the materials that are used in it are not so van friendly.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that it was built at a time that, I mean, obviously technology and materials have changed quite a bit.
Quite a
since
bit.
When you built this, so.
Yeah, and so it needs a facelift. It's
Yeah.
been 4 years. It's done me really well. I
It's
love it.
A ridiculously great rig. Like,
Yeah.
it is awesome. So
I
yeah,
mean-
it just needs a little touch, a little
bit of spruce up.
a little spruce
a little
up.
love.
A little love, yes, very much so. Question number 8. What is your best bathroom, number 1 or number 2 story from Life on the Road?
Oh, I don't know. So I used to do this thing.
There's no bathroom in the rig?
No, there's no
There's no
bathroom in the
toilet
rig.
in the
There's
rig.
no toilet in the rig.
Okay,
I used to do this thing on Instagram, and then people gave me shit about it.
no pun intended.
No pun intended. I used to do this every Sunday called Shit Views.
Okay.
And I would post a hashtag,
Yeah.
and I would say where my best shit view was
Mm-hmm.
for the week.
I think it's amazing.
And I used to do that, and then people were like, this is not cool. You can't keep doing this. And I was like, you know what? At that point, I was like,
They're ridiculous.
I was like, you
think that's
guys
a
are so
great
dumb.
idea.
And I enjoyed doing it.
Yeah.
And then my life got crazy, and I stopped doing it because I was like, I can't take the internet yelling at me anymore. I just want to live my life. Like,
Yes.
fuck all of you. And so, like, I've kind of gone through this, like, love-hate with social media where I'm like, I want people to know how great this life is, and like I don't like bragging. I don't feel like I'm bragging about my life, but like I'm also
It's okay.
trying to be that little joy for them.
Yeah, you're gonna love the last question. I can't wait to ask you. Seriously.
So I don't know. I can't even remember my best shit view, but
No, but okay, so you don't have like a story that you're like, oh God, I probably shouldn't tell this story, but I have this story.
no.
Yeah, going to the bathroom on the road, people ask all the time. It's a
No,
common question.
I'm like,
you
it's
literally just go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I'm like, you go out, you dig a hole, and then like
Yeah.
you just go to the
Go to the
bathroom.
bathroom.
Like, I don't understand. Have you ever camped before? Like, a lot of people, I feel like though, a lot of people that move into a van or a truck or whatever they choose
Right.
have never gone camping.
Yeah.
Like they've never had a tent.
Yeah, that kind
or a
of
sleeping bag.
That kind
and
of
I'm like,
needs to be a prerequisite.
I know.
For van
I'm like,
life.
there needs to be like, you need to have at least pitched a tent before.
Yes, agreed.
Like, you don't have to go backpacking. I get that's a little scary for some people.
No through hiking if you do, that's an issue. But like,
yeah, but like,
pitch a tent.
Know how to make a tent because like, God forbid something happens to your rig and you've got to go. I mean, I don't know how that would happen, but still. Like,
yeah, it's fair.
You need to know how to survive in the wilderness.
It's fair. It's completely fair. So, I mean, again, you've been living on the road for 4 years with no toilet in the rig. That's commendable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to deal with the compost, all of it. It's like, no, it's just too much.
Composting toilets are great. Everybody on the show will know my views on composting toilets. I'm a big fan of composting toilets. I think cassette toilets are literally the most disgusting things on the planet.
Yeah, I tried one of those like the first like couple years.
Yeah.
But it was only to pee in.
Yeah.
Like you were not allowed to shit in that thing. There was absolutely no way.
Your friend down there, Sierra,
is the opposite.
Is the opposite.
And I'm like, no, absolutely not.
She said it on the show to me, and I literally was like, wait, what did you just say? Did you say
absolutely
you only
not.
do number 2 in the cassette toilet?
I would never.
I was like, really? Come here.
I would never.
Come here.
I would never. Never in a million years. No.
That's amazing.
I only really liked mine because when I was working in my plant, it was easier to have like the cassette toilet.
Sure, because you're close by. You don't have
because I didn't have the ability to like walk outside.
Or walk out into the desert.
Yeah, and walk out in the desert and like dig a hole, but like I still didn't shit in it. I'd have to go like inside.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't know. I'm just like, the idea of like going and like dumping at like a dump station is like disgusting to me.
Yes.
I'm like, oh!
It's why composting toilets are the best. They're absolutely
But they take up so much space.
Have you seen my composting toilet?
I've seen all of them. Believe me, I've been on the road for 4 years,
I'm
sir.
kidding.
They're huge.
That one is small. The Airhead is small.
Yeah, no, they're the same size. They're all big.
They're bigger than cassettes, yes, for sure. So they take up space. I get it.
I mean,
it makes sense.
I also don't want to have like a toilet in my kitchen. I don't know. It's just like the whole thing is like, oh.
I can understand.
But then again,
that.
I mean, like, how many times have I had like a jug of pee in there that I've spilled everywhere? Like, how many times?
It just took us a second to get to a good pee story, but now, yeah, like I feel like that is a van life rite of passage where either a pee jug or a jar of pee tips over in your van.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's just.
Welcome to van life.
But it's also not. To me, that's just like. That's just what happens.
Yeah, like this is just the life.
That's just part of the life.
Correct.
So I'm like, to me, it's not like
it's not a big deal.
It's not out of the norm.
No, of course not. No, that's just that was like a rough 10 minutes.
Yeah, but like, I mean, how many times when you have composting toilets do you overflow the pee
jug,
into the composting and you're like, fuck!
Oh, well, Airheads are separate. There's no mixing of the two.
No, but can't you overrun them into the other one?
Mm-mm.
Oh, interesting.
It's very well designed.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is a newer one.
Fancy. He's a bougie man. The mist shower bouginess.
A little bit.
I'm so fancy. And I'm over here like, yeah, I just take a shower out of a jug.
That's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Totally
You're
fine.
very clean.
I'm not a clean person, by no means.
No, but you're very clean at the moment.
At the moment, right now I'm showered.
Yes. Question number 9. Describe the happiest and the hardest moments of living your life on the road.
Let's start with the hardest so we end on a high note.
Okay. I like that idea.
The hardest moment that I can recall was my 30th birthday. It was my first year on the road, right after my father had passed.
Okay.
And I was by myself, literally not anywhere I wanted to be.
Yeah.
I thought my friends, I thought they were my friends. They were not my friends. I very clearly know now they are not my friends.
Right.
I thought they would meet me in the desert somewhere. We would all hang out for my birthday. I didn't care where we were. I was like, I just, honest to God, don't want to fucking be alone. I just don't want to be alone. That's all I'm saying to anyone. Like, I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be alone. And I wound up being completely alone in a place I didn't want to be.
Yeah, it wasn't even a good environment.
Even a good environment. And so I remember I just like walked down this road and I was just in tears, just hyperventilating, crying, and then I was like, fuck this, and I made myself a cake, and I sat on my counter, and I just ate cake by myself, and I was like, fuck this, like, this is fucking terrible. And then that was just like the end of it. I was like, all right, this is fine, like, whatever, this is how life, and then at that moment, I think I realized, I was like, this is how life on the road is. It's like, you're by yourself.
Yeah.
And like, you've got to be okay with this. Like, you have to know you're going to spend holidays by yourself.
Yeah.
You're going to have hard moments by yourself. Yeah. And like, you need to learn how to comfort yourself.
Mm-hmm. Well, not only comfort yourself, but also I think you work through that mental anguish. So it's that moment of like, fuck, I'm alone. And then it's like, you go through all the gamut of emotions, right? You go through like, I'm going to cry, I'm going to be super sad, and then I'm going to literally realize, okay, I'm okay. And then you're going to work your way back uphill, and you're going to be like, okay, I'm good, I can do this, I can handle this. Yeah. And so it is a lot. Like, it's, and again, we talk about it all the time on the show, is like, until you're really ready mentally to kind of make that jump, and you're really excited about being on the road full time, be patient. Like, because
don't rush it.
Don't rush it, because this is going to be difficult, and you need to kind of be ready for those
and like,
those
it can make or break you. Like,
for sure.
this is I don't, when people say like, oh, it's my dream, I'm like, if it was your dream, you'd be making steps towards it. Like,
and it's okay if you're starting those steps.
No, and and I totally support, like, anyone that comes to me and is like, I've already started researching and I've started doing this and like yada yada yada.
Yeah,
I'm like,
can you help me, or do you have ideas, or like, can we talk
fully
about
support that. But people that are like, oh, it's my dream to eventually, it's like, okay, but you're not anywhere near, like, you're over here, and like, someone that's actually making steps is like over here. It's like,
for sure.
You're still stuck in like, society wants me to be like this, and I'm gonna do this, and like, that's fine, that's your choice. Like, it's taken me a long time to accept, like, not everyone needs to be like me. And like, that's fine.
But also, like, what we were talking about before the show started is like, truly finding the kind of joy and happiness in living the life that you want to live.
100%. And for me, that's
doing what you're doing.
That's literally doing what I'm doing, and that's also the only reason I think I live. Right? Is I just want to feel joy every single day. And like, so I have a saying that I say, that I live by, and it says, today is a good day to die. And I say to myself every single day, like, I wake up and I say that today is a good day to die. Because if I don't feel okay saying that, or if I feel the urge to say like, today is not a good day to die. Then that means I'm not doing my life the way I should be doing it.
You're not doing the things that you want to do.
You're not ready to die. If you're ready to die, that means you are living in alignment with your soul. You're dancing every day. You're happy. Like,
I like that idea.
It's you have to know, like, if you're gone tomorrow, like, and you look back at what you've got, you're like, I lived a good fucking life.
Exactly. I lived exactly the way I wanted to live.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
I can completely relate and appreciate that very much so. I mean, it's one of those things where, and again, it sounds a little morbid, but at the end of the day, it's more of a mindset. And we had this conversation with a few friends recently that it was like, it's literally about how you think about, and again, your own thoughts are so powerful. They can literally change your life. For sure they can change your life, but they can also change the lives around you, the people around you, your surroundings. So you having these positive thoughts and these genuinely important thoughts about being happy have changed your life.
Right. 100%.
Yeah, I can relate to that as well.
100%.
I think it's so important too, because also we just, talked about how much you're alone. How much, like, mental anxiety comes with living in a rig. So unless you're prepared to, like, face those really bad days and figure out a way to get to the other side of them to find that happiness again, you're never going to make it in van life.
No, not at all. Or you're just going to be a miserable person
on the road.
And like, there are some people that I've noticed through my time in the road, like, they can't be alone on the road, right?
Okay. They have to be around friends all the time.
They have to be constantly surrounded by people in their van. Like, they've got to be in a van circle all the time, or like, they're going to lose their shit. And it's like, I get that when you're first getting on the road, but like, if you're 2 years in and you still have never been like by yourself, it's a little worrisome to me. It's like, are you did you have a bad experience? Or like, are you just like not okay being alone? No, it makes sense. Like, and again too, I think it must be known, or like, we talk about it all the time, and I think it's just important for, somebody that's curious or is
starting their research into van life is that this is a big overarching thing you need to understand.
Yeah.
Like being alone is going to be 80% of your time, if not more.
More than that.
Yeah.
And it's just, I am a big proponent, or is it proponent? I don't know if that's the word.
But
I'm a big supporter of like loving yourself, right? And I think living in a vehicle is the best way to do that, because you are kind of, well, I mean, again, like we just said, you're not forced into it because you can be surrounded by people constantly all the time.
Yes.
And you can escape that in your head.
Yep.
But I'm a big believer where you need to love yourself. Yeah. And like you need to be okay entirely alone.
Yeah, 100%.
Like you come into this world alone, you're going out of this world alone. Like you need to be okay with what you're sitting with.
And again, too, like you spoke of it earlier with kind of like the setup that you and Sierra had done earlier this summer. It was, you know, you get like one or two people, you know, of close friends. You find an epic location. And you guys all respect that you do need your alone time at some point. You may be together. You may be in a little minivan circle somewhere. Yeah. But you got to go, hey, I'm going to spend the day in the rig today.
Well, so during COVID, that's exactly what happened, because I was on the road and I had met up with a couple of other travelers. And we were just kind of all in this weird place because it was like, what do we do? Yeah. How do we do this?
How do you interact around one another?
What do we, because we didn't know whether it was like safe, because at that time this was like a month into COVID. This was like still March, and people were like, don't go anywhere, don't do anything, don't even go to the grocery store, like like all these crazy things. And it was kind of like afraid to be by yourself because you didn't know, like at that point, like what the world was going to do. Like you had no idea. Yeah. And so we were all extremely introverted. And like there were days where like some of us didn't even come out of our rig or like even see each other. And it's like that's the beautiful thing. We would like send each other a message and just be like, are you okay? Hey, like you still good? And we're like, yeah, we're good. Just like busy working or something. And it was just like, it's really nice. There's no expectations of like, oh, you have to hang out, otherwise they don't like me. I must have done something wrong. Yeah, like,
and it's funny, like we talk about these van meetups all the time, and they're a wonderful part of our community. Like they're kind of the glue, sort of. They're, you know, kind of interwoven into this nomadic lifestyle, very much so. But everybody respects everybody at these events to the point where, like, if you wanted to go hang out in your rig the entire time, no one's going to say anything. Right. No one's going to care if you do that.
No, not at all.
It's completely your choice. Yeah. And so, you know, it's one of those things where it's totally fine. And, you know, and it's one of the reasons why, again, I love this community so much, in the sense that it's truly, we want you to be truly just yourself. Like, you know, come and introduce yourself and spend time if you want, but we're not going to hold anything against you if you want to spend the entire day in your rig.
Well, and I think the majority of us, all we really want is to see everyone happy.
Yeah, of course.
I think that's literally, like, there's no jealousy amongst any of us.
No.
It's just like, are you happy? Like, how can I help you be happy? Yeah. Like, is giving you space allowing you to be happy? Like, do you need someone to talk to? Like, that's genuinely what all of us want. Yeah. Is like,
I think
we just want to support each other as best we can.
I think it's very well said. And, you know, I think honestly, it gets said a lot on this show where, you know, at some point in your nomadic travels, you're going to need help.
100%.
And I don't care if it's a stranger or if it's your best friend. Yeah. You're going to have to reach out to somebody and be like, hey, I need a hand.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
In this community, I will say, there's going to be somebody there for you, no matter what.
No matter what.
Like
they may not know you. They may just know you through Instagram, but like someone will be there for you.
100%.
Like, and the sad thing is, and like I was just saying this to Sierra before I came out here, I was like, it's so funny because I'm in a city surrounded by people. I'm in a house living with a person. I'm literally going to like yoga studios, Pilates studios, like surrounded by people. And I feel more alone.
Yeah, that's interesting.
More alone in a city than I ever feel in my van. Like even if I'm parked out here by myself, I feel less alone parked by myself than I do in a city. Just because it's so different. Fake. It's so like, if I needed to call someone there and ask them for help, they would not be there. They'd be like, oh, sorry, I have a dinner party. No, like it's just.
Yeah. There's nothing necessarily.
There's no soul connection to life.
Yeah, no, and I think out here you truly make that. Like everybody out here is in the same situation. I don't care what rig you're in. If you're out here in a car, in the craziest rig on the planet, in a box truck, in a schoolie, in a van, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
We're all living the same situation.
Right, exactly.
And we understand each other's, troubles. We understand the highs.
Yeah.
We understand the lows.
Right.
And oftentimes, because you understand the lows, when somebody is in that point, you're like,
Let
what
me help
can
you.
I do?
Yeah.
How can I help you?
100%.
Yeah. And I think that is a perfect example.
Sweet
Well,
boy.
did you even answer the happiest?
Oh, the happiest moment? Honest to God, I couldn't even pinpoint one for you.
Okay.
Like, I am genuinely so happy just being on the road.
Yeah.
Maybe like one of the coolest moments I remember that's like really incredible was when I summited Snowmass in Colorado.
Yeah.
It was my first 14er, and I remember coming over the ridgeline, and I was like, and I had like gotten to the trailhead super early because it was like a 27-mile day.
Yep.
And like, I just got up there and I was like, I can only do this on a Tuesday because like, this is how I'm choosing to live my life.
Yeah.
Like, this is incredible. And I just stood there and I was like, I do this lifestyle to feel alive. And right now, like, holy fuck, I'm so alive. Like,
It's awesome. Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. And again, I think you kind of said something that's interesting is like we do this lifestyle to feel alive.
Yeah.
And I think having now done this, and again, I'm a newbie on the road. I'm 7 months on the road, but I knew nothing about the road when I started, like nothing. But it was this community that completely embraced me into this lifestyle.
Yeah.
And it's allowed me to see places along in the United States that I've never imagined I'd see.
Yeah.
Places that I'd never imagined I would experience.
Right.
And then also meeting people that now I can genuinely call lifelong friends, like forever
100%.
friends.
Like, I have made more friends being in the van than I've ever made in my entire life.
Yes.
And like, people are like, oh, don't you want to like set roots somewhere and like develop a community? And I'm like, I have one.
A community, exactly.
I have one.
Yeah,
like,
people don't necessarily understand that until they get on the road.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not even in the slightest.
Like how much this is a community.
Yeah, it is. And even if you don't know that person, like, you may have a friend that knows this person and they're like,
sure.
oh, you're in that area, so you should go connect with so-and-so. And like, y'all would have a great time.
Yes.
It's like, it's just.
It's exactly how this works. I was an hour away and Sierra said, hey, I'm with a good group of people. I know a couple of them. I did not know you. I didn't know a couple others here. But, again, this is exactly how it works.
Yeah, and it's. I mean, I've met some of the most incredible people while being on the road. And like, some of them live in vehicles, some of them don't. Like, it's just. I love the ability to like go anywhere because I have a vehicle.
Yeah.
And I have nothing holding me back anywhere. And it's like, I decided I want to go run that mountain, so I'm going to go over that community. Who knows? I could meet the love of my life over there. Like, it's just like, that's just the way this lifestyle is.
This is very true. Okay, last question.
No!
This is my favorite question for you.
Okay, fine. For me?
For you, specifically.
Okay.
In your own words, you have to, because you're gonna scream and when I say the first part of the sentence, so let me get the second part out too. Okay. In your own words, define #vanlife and offer a piece of advice for somebody wanting to live a life on the road.
Okay. So when I was on the road and I had a bunch of friends that were in like the social media van life community, I started telling them, I was like, we need to make a shirt that says like van life and then like lives in a van. Because
I love that.
Because there's two entirely different worlds.
Yeah.
Like two entirely different worlds. And like, I don't want to say like I am above anyone. I'm not trying to say that at all. Please don't take it that way. I'm just saying like I specifically moved into my van because I'm an outdoors person, because I prefer to be out in the dirt, barefoot, running around, going through mountains. Like I prefer to be connected to nature.
Yes.
And I feel a lot of #vanlife prefers to be connected to Walmarts.
Yes.
Prefers to be connected to Cracker Barrels.
Yes.
Prefers to drive out here, take their pretty Instagram photo, make their reel, and then go back to the creature comforts of the city.
The city.
And to me personally, like it gives the rest of us that are trying to live like truly on the land and like connected to earth and like a minimalist lifestyle, it gives us a bad rep because for those times those few times we have to go into a city, we get side eyes from the cops. People are looking at our rigs. They're sizing us up. They're going, do you think they live in there? We'll get bangs on the doors because cops think like we're trying to stealth camp. And it's like, no, I'm just trying to go to the grocery store. Like, God. Like,
yes. No.
So it's just.
I'm with you. And again, like the question is written and asked because it's completely tongue-in-cheek. Because we all know #vanlife. I'm not saying it isn't real because those places are real. The photographs that people take,
they're real.
Are real. Like this epic view that we're here with,
it's real.
Is real. But it's glamorized in a way that it is not our real life.
Correct.
It's not how we live day to day. It's not our struggles and the issues that we have in the van, in the rig every day.
And I think not a lot of people understand. Like, people ask me all the time, they're like, what do you do all day? And I'm like, honest to God, I don't know. But, like, the day goes by so quickly.
And time goes by fast.
And time goes by so fast.
Yeah.
But, like, time also goes by fast in a city. But it's like, you don't remember anything that happened that day. Whereas here, I can recall every single sunset. Because I walk up there every single night and I go watch sunset.
Yeah.
And, like, I can recall all of those moments.
Yeah.
But, like, in a house, it's just, like, a blur.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so...
But it's also one of those things, again, why I ask the question, and it spurs everybody, which is what I want. And it's tongue-in-cheek for a reason. It's like we know that this thing on Instagram, God bless it, because it's getting people into the community, which I love. Like, it's getting people excited about it.
Yeah.
But I'm also in agreement with you that, yes, people that are just doing it for the social media end of it, it's not saying, like, I could give two shits if that's what they want to do. More power to them.
Right.
But, like, it has no effect on me. But at the end of the day, like, I still want them to respect the lands that we're going to sit and park on.
And that's my biggest problem is, like, there's a lot of people getting into this that don't respect the land, and they're doing it for the wrong reasons. Yep. And it's like, that's not why a lot of us move into the vehicles.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
That's just... It just bothers me when I see them out here and they're disrespectful.
Yeah.
And then...
Well, sometimes, and again, I don't want to name names. I'm not going to, like, give a certain location. Had this conversation multiple times this past summer. But sometimes some of the more influential social media folks choose to stay by themselves and refuse to, get involved in the community itself.
Yes.
Like, they refuse to meet other people that are also doing this lifestyle, that are also living in a rig, that are also doing something just like they are, but they refuse to kind of become
because
a part
they're above
of it.
Because they're above it.
Yes.
And so they are above it. And so the thing I've noticed, because I was friends with quite a few of these people, is... they're above it, and unless you're going to enhance their social media presence, why are they going to bother with you?
Interesting. Okay.
So, I mean, if it's not a social media ploy of any kind, like, there's no benefit to them.
Yeah, they don't care.
So, I mean, you know, when I first got on the road, I was like, I'm going to be, like, try and do the whole influencer thing. Yeah. I immediately was repulsed. And, like, even to this day, I'm still like, what are you fucking influencing? Are you influencing me to buy more shit that I don't need? Like, I don't understand. So, like, for me, I'm a big person on, like, mental health and, like, talking about that openly and, like, very, very open about it. Like, I've gone into detail about my mental health issues. And I'm like, why don't we see more, like, influencers, of not just van life influencers, but, like, influencers that are talking about something that enhances life or, like, anything other than, look at my fashion. Look at, this is the food I bought for my dog that I never would have bought had they not given it to me for free. It's like, well,
I get it. I'm with you.
Come on, people. Let's have a little more depth to the social media thing.
This is true. And again, it's kind of why I've started the show in a sense that, like, I'm hoping some of these stories from other fellow nomadic travelers resonate with people that have a desire to see what it's really like on the road. Yeah, because you can feel... I imagine... Like, it's easier as a filmmaker or a photographer to curate something. 100%. To where... 100%. I'm going to be able to give you an emotion that you didn't know you were going to feel, but my photo or my video is going to have been edited
Yep.
to where you're going to feel
It's going to
something.
be perfectly curated image,
Right.
and you're going to feel
Yeah.
this is perfect.
Yeah.
And then guess what? When you get on the road and
Yeah.
it's not like that, you're like, what's wrong with me?
Yeah. Like,
Nothing's
did I
wrong
screw?
with you.
Did I screw this up? Am I doing this wrong? No. This is how it is.
No, this is how it is, but no one's going to tell you that's how it is.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm hoping that kind of, again, we're kind of starting that conversation a little bit. So, give one piece of advice now for somebody wanting to live a life on the road.
Get ready to be alone.
Okay.
Get ready for everything to fucking break.
Yes.
And get ready to literally cry a lot.
Okay. I mean, it's genuine.
Like,
it's totally genuine, and I think it's the most honest answer given so far.
And
yes.
I mean, it gets easier over time.
Yeah, you learn.
It gets easier over time. Like now I know where to go, where not to go. Yeah. But it's also, and you start to develop spots that you like and areas that you like. And like the hardest part I think is figuring out how in the fuck you get groceries, you find a spot, you get water, you dump trash, where you shower. It's like all of that gets tough, but that's to me that's the easy stuff. That's like you figure that out.
You figure it out because you're forced to, because that's what your daily life looks like. And so you really have no choice.
Yeah.
Like it is like I'm either gonna figure this out or like I'm gonna have like bags and bags of trash in my van for days on end.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna find a way to where to put this. Like or I'm gonna find a way.
And let me tell you, the front seats are great. Just throw everything in the front and like shut the door, and then it's like whatever, nothing exists up there. Because let me tell you, normally I have my motorcycle and I run into town like every couple days and like get stuff.
Yeah.
I don't have my motorcycle because it's dead, and so I'm like, oh my god, this is what it's like to be a peasant in van life. Like, fuck.
I actually have to drive into town and get
so I haven't moved the
groceries.
van since I got here. So I'm like, ew, gross.
I'm out of food and
I'm literally out of food. I'm like, no, I have to go today. I have no food.
Oh, that's amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically your advice is that be prepared for the troubles that you're going to come across.
Be prepared for it to suck.
Yeah.
It's gonna suck.
Yeah.
Like it's not pretty.
Yeah.
It's gonna suck.
Well, and then the end cap to that is it gets better.
It does. It gets better, but a lot of people I know don't make it past like the first year.
Get to the get better part.
Yeah, and like that's fine. I get it. This isn't for everybody.
For sure.
And it's hard and it's lonely, and a lot of people want community and roots and stability.
Yeah,
and
you're not going to find that here. Like,
you're not going to find that.
Like the community you're going to find, but the roots and the
stability?
No. Stability couldn't be the furthest thing from describing what true, real road life is like.
Exactly. And I always tell people, they're like, well, how would you explain yourself? I'm like, unstable. Unstable. If there is one way to describe me perfectly, it is unstable.
That is literally...
You literally have no idea. Like one day she's going to be a fucking joy, and the next day she's going to be savage.
I love it.
It's just... Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
That is literally the perfect way to end this show. I absolutely love it. From the most unstable guest I've had on the show. Thank you so much for doing this today. I really appreciate your time, and we will see you guys all on the next episode. So thank you.
No, ma'am. Come here. You're not out of the chair now. Come on. You're staying in the chair. I don't want to have to yell for you. You too, sir.
Hi.
My dog's going to be annoying.
It's okay. You can be annoying all you want. Come over here.
He doesn't have a ball, though, so...
Come on this side. Come here. Sit right here.
He's not going to ask us to throw the ball.
It's okay. You can sit right here. You can sit right here. That's perfect. Thank you. You can sit. You good? Thank you so much. That
you
was
also
great.
know I carry a horse trough with me, right?
You carry a horse trough?
I have a horse trough in there because I take baths.
Well, baths are amazing. Well, you mentioned this earlier, but I didn't realize you had it in your fucking rig.
Yeah, it's in my garage. That's why my garage has to stay that big.
All right, come on, let's go look. I have to see this. Like, legitimately,
I have a horse trough. Yeah.
In your rig.
I'm not kidding.
Well, I know how long your van is. I know how long the...
But yours is an extended. Mine's not an extended.
But it's the same. We had this conversation with another friend who had a 170. She had an extra foot this way on her bed, and I have the foot that way on... That's all it is. It's the same goddamn thing. My bed's probably about the same size as your bed.